Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Gametime Gents podcast. It is me, Nardy, here with Fish and Zolt. Boys, say hello.
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 And as you can see, we have another guest here today. We have the Bearded Baron. What's going on?
How's it going? I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good. Happy you're here. We wanted to get you on here last year. I know we already told you this, but you were doing a very, very long subathon that I'm sure was very tiring. So,
Which Baron, how long was that subathon going for?
I had to cap it at 2 months.
Okay, 2 months. That's insane.
Yeah, it's only 1/6 of the year for those of you keeping stats at home.
Oh, somebody want to fact check that? I don't know.
3 minutes. You might want 3 minutes at a time. 3 minutes at a time, and it lasted for 2 months.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Yeah. And you had to cap it, you said, so it could have gone.
It's just it definitely would have. Yeah, no, it just turns into, when you start going for that long, it just like, the best thing I could use to describe is like the from like Lord of the Rings, where Frodo, he says that he just feels like it's too little butter scraped over too much bread, right? And you just start to get just completely and utterly you're just exhausted all the time. You're like, I'm short fused, at that point in time, because my chat will troll me and they will do it. But at the end of the day, right, if I aggravate them or piss them off, they can always just turn off my stream. But like, as we keep going, right, it's one of those things where it just kind of keeps wearing at you over and over.
Yeah.
And so it's like after a month, it's like, yeah, I'm definitely much more shorter fused than what I am normally.
Right.
And so then you have to take a couple of days off, and people are never happy with the amount of time that I take off either, because normally I'll take like 2 or 3 days off, and then I'm like, all right, we're back at it. We're just gonna go back into normal streams. So yeah, but it's a really fun time. Just getting to hang out with the community and stuff with as much that we do.
Yeah, people got to realize you have a life outside of streaming too. I mean, there was this one streamer, I forget her name, but she was on a subathon for like 3 years.
She's still going.
Is she still going? Do you remember who that is?
I don't know her name, but she's I think she's getting closer to like 5 years or something like that.
That's insane.
At this point in time. Oh yeah, no, it's crazy. I give it to her, but like, I think she's single. I don't know anything about her, so I could be totally wrong. But I think that she's single, and she obviously she doesn't have any kids. But it was like, I can't, because after a while, like my son, he's 5, and it's like he's not going to understand that like I'm doing this as a job kind of thing. All he's gonna know is that Daddy doesn't want to play with him.
Yeah,
kind of thing. And so it just starts to wear on you after a while, and you're just like, I can't do this anymore. Like I gotta pull the plug.
Yeah, that makes sense. So just to start off the interview, I guess this is a good segue. Is streaming what you do full time?
Streaming is what I do for full time, yeah.
Streaming, YouTube, TikTok, all that stuff.
Yeah, full-fledged content creator. So yeah. Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, yeah, anywhere and everywhere that I could possibly get, any social media, right? Twitter, Blue Sky, all that kind of stuff.
And when did you get your start? Like, when did you start streaming, I should say?
So, it was back in 2018. I was a software developer.
Okay.
Yeah, went to school, got a computer science degree, and now I don't even use it.
That's all of us though.
Right?
I got sports management. I don't do anything close to that, unfortunately.
So I was working for a company out of Atlanta, and my manager, his son is Choco Taco. Really big in the PUBG scene when it first came out, played with like Dr. Disrespect, Shroud, like super famous dude, right? Really huge. And he would sit there and he would talk about his son all day long, and he'd be like, oh yeah, no, you see this really nice gaming chair? Like my son had this and he gave me this, and like, oh, look at these clips that he did. And I just remember thinking to myself, I was like, this is stupid. I was like, who would want to watch somebody play video games? I was like, I'd rather be the one playing the video game. So then that's when I was like, all right, well, I guess, we'll give it a shot and see. And I'm a terrible employee. Absolutely terrible. I will put in the least amount of effort when it comes to working. So doing the content creation stuff, because it is my own train, I put in way more work into this than I ever have for any other job I've ever worked, because it is mine and because my success is purely derived from the work that I put into it. So when COVID hit, I was doing it part-time. COVID hit, I lost my job, and my wife was 6 months pregnant at the time. So we were like, well, we can survive off of your income. I can still do the streaming thing as a, as kind of as a, we'll classify it as like a part-time job. When our son is finally sleeping through the night, I'll go back to work. Right. That way my wife is not getting up in the middle of the night to go and feed or change our son, and I can be there and be more attentive and help out. And it just kind of worked out, and just kind of picked up from there. And I was able to transition and do full time, and now I make more money doing this than I ever did as a software developer.
That's awesome. Yeah, from the folks we've interviewed last year, it seems like COVID was a time where everything really ramped up for folks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just because like, so it was a total shift, right? Of everybody, and you're seeing that you're seeing it now with a lot of streams shrinking.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's happening is during COVID, right? Everybody was at home. So everybody went through all of like, your Netflix shows and, Hulu and whatever else, right? And you binge watch every single show that you can. But then where do you go from there, right? Like if you're at home and you're just wanting something to watch, well, streaming is every single day it's new, right? Every single day I'm putting out new content. We're doing something else. We're playing through a game or something. And so a lot of people started tuning in. A lot more people started tuning in during COVID because they wanted something to watch while they were at work. And so now we're starting to see that transition to where a lot of other streamers and stuff are getting just across the board. They're just kind of shrinking a bit because a lot more people are going to work. A lot more people don't have the time of being able to work from home and watch streams from home and that kind of thing. But yeah, no, it definitely helped out for COVID for me, for sure.
So Phasmo, which is the game that you stream, I would say the most, and I think you would agree with that.
Oh yeah.
Didn't come out until what, 2020?
It's 2020.
So what kind of things were you getting into before that?
I tried originally to be a Minecraft streamer.
Okay.
Yeah, and I sucked at it. Nobody watched it at all for the first like 2 weeks. Nobody even came into the stream. I was just talking to nobody. And finally I had like one guy that I popped in, and he was chatting with me, and he recommended, he was like, oh yeah, like you should do like a horror game. And I was like, oh, I like some Left 4 Dead. I was like, yeah, sure, we'll play Left 4 Dead one night, I don't care. And so we played that, and that got a few more people, and those folks were like, well, have you ever tried Dead by Daylight, which is basically the equivalent of like, hey, have you ever tried heroin? And I was like, well, no. I was like, yeah, let's try this. So then I went on this like 3-year-long binge journey of Dead by Daylight, and I have several thousand hours in Dead by Daylight now. And I was just getting burnt out on it. I was trying to hit partner numbers and couldn't hit partner numbers, and I was getting frustrated, and I had played Phasmo before. I played it when it first came out, right? Because there was a big hype for it. And I was like, this is whatever, but I don't feel like it's gonna go really anywhere. And they were quietly making some adjustments in the background, and I think COVID really helped them out too. because it just kind of exploded in popularity again, and I just kind of I was able to ride that wave of the popularity popping off to what it is now. Now I have 4,000 hours in Phasmo.
That's crazy. So somebody want to drop in the comments how many days that is equal to? Maybe.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. But before you started to decide to stream it, I know you said your boss's son, Choco Taco, was,
168 days.
Oh, that's how many hours 4,000 hours is?
168 days.
That's insane.
Man, it's always bad, but it's like those numbers. I remember the old Call of Duties. We were pretty big in Call of Duties when
yeah.
we came out of high school.
Mhm.
I remember looking at and saying to everybody online, "Holy shit, we had a whole year's worth of playing time." Looking back on it, I was like, "Jesus Christ, that is bad, man. Those are bad numbers."
Black
Oh,
Ops
man.
2 took
What a
so
milestone.
much of my life.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, like, if you enjoyed it, right? If it was a fun pastime, right? You weren't, you didn't go out and necessarily, like, you miss out on other things, right? And like my parents, they used to give me more hell about playing games. They don't anymore. But I was like, well, I could be out doing drugs. Could be
Literally
out
what I say all the time.
could be out like
That is exactly what you say.
Yeah. I get smoking an 8-ball, but I decided to play video games.
Fish has a bit of a problem when it comes to trading cards. He likes to buy sports cards and Pokemon cards by the box, and every time he buys it, I hear him say the same thing. It could be drugs.
Yeah, I mean, look, you just need one of them to be like a PSA 10, and then you're solid. And then and see, there you go.
I need to start every time I buy this man cards. He pays me back like before he even gets the cards. He's great about it, but then he pulls just a massive card.
Scumbag when it comes to paying people.
Yeah, no, you're great about it. Literally, I hadn't even paid for the cards. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get you 4 boxes. You're like, all right, cool. How much are they? I'm like, oh, it's this much. And then I look down, it's Venmo from Fish. I'm like, oh, brother, I haven't bought the cards yet. I could just turn around and put these back.
He goes, it's 260, and I go, how about 230? And he goes, about 260. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. Try and haggle a little bit.
But then I get I see him like a week later, give him the cards. It's all cool. Next day, I'm just chilling at home. All of a sudden, my phone starts ringing. It's a FaceTime. I'm like, what? Why is Fish FaceTiming me? He never FaceTimes me. He goes, yeah, just ripping in those cards. You picked me up. You know if this card's any good? It's like $1,800 card.
Patrick Mahomes, Bazooka, or Downtown Kaboom, whatever it was.
I mean, there's been times, especially with a buddy of ours who used to have a Pokemon plug, right? Not kind of get sidetracked on this. He used to have a Pokemon plug where his guy would be like, yeah, I sell boxes of cards and stuff. Like, awesome, great. We'll take a case. It's a case apiece, please, if you don't mind. I'll spend the money out there. Why not? Hell, you never saw Pokemon cards anyway. But there was a good streak of pulling chase cards left and right. Now I'm on a downward spiral. Last time this happened, we pulled it downtown worth like $1,300. So just waiting for that to hit.
Right? You got to chase the dragon.
Chasing it. But like you said, I mean, it's playing video games and collecting cards has always been a big part of our lives growing up. So, I mean, be out there paying hookers and doing cocaine. But I decided to go the childhood route. So that's where we're at.
Yeah. So so you were saying, just to tie back into it, you were talking about my former boss and his kid.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna lead into like, what were some of the, like, did you have any inspirations with streaming? Any role models? Like, I know for Fish hasn't really streamed yet. I think he's thinking about it when he moves. Zolt, he's streamed. I think each one of us has always shared Tim the Tatman's videos back and forth. We're huge Tim fans, so I think he would be a role model for us, or inspiration to get into streaming. But I'm just curious, have you had somebody like that you've looked up to?
I would say if there was anybody that I kind of I gravitated towards, it would be Doug.
Okay.
I have seen a lot of Tim the Tatman stuff. I loved his his Call of Duty spectating lobbies.
Yeah.
Those were always a good time. But the reason why I liked Doug was because Doug was just like, I have this really stupid question, and I'm just gonna use chat, and we're gonna figure out like what the answer is. Like I don't know what the answer is, but we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
So like he would do stuff like, he would be like, I'm gonna play through Skyrim, but I'm gonna set it up with my computer that if chat gets me to say certain words, then stuff will spawn on top of me. So it'd be like, if I said the word dragon, then all of a sudden it would spawn 10 different dragons on my head. And so then like his chat would start, he was like, all right, well, if anybody donates to the channel, then I have to read out the donation. And so, somebody would be like, man, this stream's really dragging on, isn't it? And he would be like, it's dragging on. And it would be like, oh, you said dragon. So then it would spawn 10 dragons. So then it was this back and forth game between him and his chat of like, trying to get him to say certain words and like trying to throw him off the scent of like, I'm trying to get you to say this word, but I got to put it in a certain way so that way phonetically it sounds like that when you say it. Just stuff like that, right? Just really good storytelling. I think, granted, I will caveat this by saying very, very heavily that I was a big fan of Dr. Disrespect
Mhm.
before everything happened with him, right? Before everything came
We were
out with
too.
him.
Yeah, same.
I still think, right, stream quality, right? Like for as far as like running a green screen, because I run a green screen and stuff like that for my streams. Stream quality wise and what he was bringing to the table when nobody else was a huge inspirational thing, right? Like you would watch a Dr. Disrespect stream for the amount of effort that was going into it, right? That nobody asked for, but everybody loved it. Just come to find out the guy was just a total piece of shit at the end. But like
Yeah.
still, like stream wise, really, really good stuff.
Production
like,
quality through the roof.
production. Oh yeah. So that was one as well. And then like smaller ones, like I always like to look up and try to figure out why it is that somebody made it famous. Like what was it about, this person that made them pop off? What was it about Jinxie, or what was it about Queso, or what was it about the Burnt Peanut? I've been watching the Burnt Peanut since he was averaging 900 viewers
Yeah.
playing Escape from Tarkov, right? That's when I first heard about him and started watching his stuff. Now the guy streams to a mid-sized city, right? Like just absolutely mind-blowing numbers. I can't even fathom having a stream that size.
Has he always been a peanut?
No. He's not always been a peanut. In his early days, he tried streaming with the regular camera,
Just as himself,
and it just didn't work as well. And so then he, according to him, he took off for a couple of months to work on kind of everything. Picked up the peanut, and then made the character. If you go back in like his TikToks, for example, and you have to go back really far. But if you go back to like the very beginning of his stuff, you can still see him like burnt peanut. So you still get the peanut, but he's not the character yet. Right. And so like I like to watch and see of like, all right, when did he become peanut? Right. That we all know and love. But like, so there's a transitional phase. So it's like, you watching this progression happen over the course of a couple of different clips. And I'm sure that, if you were to go back in time and you were to look at my original stuff versus now, you'd be like, all right, well, when did Baron become Baron that we know and love versus, this guy that was when I was Adam before,
Mhm.
So I like to look at those kind of things. I like to try to find out why it is that somebody got that way, and if there's something about somebody's stream that I enjoy, it's the Ludwig made a good example about this. It's the yoink and twist. So if you find something like you guys said, I really like Tim the Tab Man. All right.
Yeah.
taking his idea, putting my spin on it, and putting it back out there. Right? Because I guarantee you, Tim got it from somebody else. Right? He saw it from somebody else, one of his, somebody else that he was playing with or something along those lines, and was like, I like that. I'm going to take that, put my spin on it, and put it back out. So that's everybody does that.
Right. Steal shamelessly and tweak it a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
The reason I
that's just
started.
The
Sorry,
world.
Yeah,
I know,
true.
I'm saying that's just how like everything is. You look at games, music, even movies.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. The reason I started cracking up when you were talking about Doug Doug is just thinking of the four of us doing the Doug Doug challenge. I think we would destroy that.
Oh, is that the fast food challenge?
Yes. Yeah, you have to go to 10 fast food places, order whatever the car in front of you ordered. You have to get something from KFC. It's just it's hysterical every time somebody does it. I know Ludwig's done it once. I've watched his run through, but yeah, that was just something that popped into my head after you mentioned Doug Doug there.
Dude, my belly hurts thinking about that.
Yeah, that would be an interesting.
Now, is it so? If I had, for example, like, 5 people in the car with me, are we all splitting what the person in front of us had, or is it each individual person gets whatever that the last person had?
So you can only have 4 people. These are the rules that I've understood. There may be more, there may be less. I'm not sure, but you can only have 4 people in the car. The car is able to split whatever the order is in front of them. So, like if it's the 4 of us and they order a chicken sandwich, one of us can house it. Or if Zolt's like, "Hey man, I want half of that," I can give you half of it. It's just whatever we want to do. But
love a good chicken sandwich, man.
People have to strategically decide when to go to KFC, because if you get behind somebody that gets a 20-piece bucket with 3 large mashed potatoes and 2 other sides and a case full of biscuits, then it's game over.
Tip, you go at lunchtime because everyone's just ordering the quick combos.
That's actually probably a really good idea.
You know, the meal deals that they have, that right there, boom, done.
Yeah, because about 5:30 to 6 is where
it's
people
dinner
get off
time,
work
and you're
like,
getting you're getting a bucket.
Like,
Yeah,
100%.
I would not be going behind somebody with like a minivan or something. I'd be like, no, we're not. We're waiting. We're waiting
We're
for somebody to
diverting.
pull through here that looks like that they work out for a living.
Yeah.
Like we know that they won't be consuming a whole lot.
That always comes
protein,
up.
though.
Yeah, it is. It
That's
is.
true.
A lot of protein.
It always comes up as they're doing the run. They're like, "All right, let's get behind this car. What's that person look like? All right, it's a Subaru. It's a small lady. I think we're going to be okay."
She's ordering a church gathering.
She's ordering for the office. Yeah.
So how do you pick the fast food restaurants in that, though? Is it just like...
It's just random.
Just random? Okay.
You have to go to 8 actual fast food places, and then I think you get 2 like coffee shops. The people go to like Dunkin' or... Where people mess up is they go to Krispy Kreme as a coffee shop, and I'm like, you could get 3 dozen donuts.
That's a big one right there.
Huge.
Oh, you go to one of those like pretentious, like coffee places where you're like, oh, they had like an espresso beforehand. Perfect. I'll take that. Thank you.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah. I could go to Starbucks and house like 17 cake pops and I'd be okay, I think.
Do you guys have Fazoli's around you?
We do.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Just imagine that. And just right in the middle. It's like adding another KFC.
Do I have to go to a Long John Silver's?
You don't have to, no. Pretty sure Long John's
like
is a drug front.
I'm in. I'm taking that one for the team.
The crazy thing is, I think I have one by me. I think it splits. It's split with a KFC.
Oh,
Dude, I don't know how they're open.
there's one by us
don't
that's
either.
with an A&W.
There's never anyone in them. Like every time I pass a Long John's, it's the 3 workers and no one else. Like how what's the sales look like today? It's got to be a money laundering thing. Has to be.
It's another like there's a grocery store that's near us. It's called Food City. I don't know if you guys have Food Cities where you're at, but it's a smaller chain or whatever. But like every time that I drive by there, it's like there's like 10 cars, and I know that that's the 10 different people that are working there currently. And I'm like, I don't know how y'all are staying open. Like you have this massive building with food in it, with this huge parking lot and stuff. And it's like you never have people in there. Like the Kroger's that's near my house has people in it left and right all the time.
24/7.
Yeah. But over by there, no, not a soul. And I'm just like, they've been open for like at least for the last couple of years at least. And I'm like, all right, well, something.
What you don't see is they have 8 dumpsters behind them with spoiled food that they had to throw away because no one's there buying anything.
Oh yeah, no, I can imagine that for sure. But it's just like I don't, like at what point in time do you just say, hey, okay, we're gonna pull it? We're this location didn't work out.
Yeah. So the next question we had, other than like desktop streaming, like what you do normally, is there any other kinds of avenues of content you've wanted to go into? I remember last year you were doing some woodworking streams. Have you ever wanted to do like IRL stuff or?
Most of the time I get around to doing that kind of stuff during like our subathons. Just because like I'm like, guys, I got to do something else other than being chained behind my desk for so long. So like, I've even gone the route of being like, hey guys, I need to mow my yard. So I'm just gonna put the camera out here in my yard, and y'all are just gonna watch me mow my yard. And I was like, I'll pop lock and drop it every time somebody gives a sub while I'm mowing my yard. So like my neighbors are probably out looking out the window going like, what the hell is happening over here? But I'm like, I have to get stuff done. I don't have time in the day. Like my wife's not going to do it. My son's too little to be able to do this. Like I have to be the one to do this. And so chat's normally pretty good about it. They will always, because I run when I do like IRL content, I'll run with like my cell phone as loud as it possibly can be. And so they'll start saying the most just off the cuff stuff in like the middle of like Home Depot is like I'm going through there, like I'll be like walking through the aisles and a donation sound will pop up and somebody will be like, I'm trapped in here. Please help me. Like, shut up. Or
That's
like,
awesome.
hey, this is Amazon with your order. Your big boy 97,000 is at your front doorstep. Thank you for choosing Amazon. It's like, all right, cool.
Make sure to leave a review.
Oh yeah, or worse is like I'll pump it through my car through Bluetooth, like when we're driving or something like that, and I'll pull through like a drive-through, and they'll start ordering food.
Oh.
And so I have to be like, please, just listen to my voice. Please just disregard everything else that's happening right now. Like I'm not ordering all of this kind of food. Like it's just me. You're hearing them. So yeah. But no, normally we do some kind of woodworking stuff. I built my dining room table. I built a liquor cabinet. This subathon, I'm probably going to be building a full stand-up arcade machine.
Oh, nice.
Sick.
So yeah, that'll definitely be a fun project for sure.
I got to see a picture of that liquor cabinet. It's probably on your Instagram.
I don't know if it is or not. It might be. Maybe. It's definitely in the Discord. If it's not, just remind me afterwards, and I can send you a picture of it. But I made the mistake of asking my wife. I was like, "Well, what kind of a dining room table would you like?" And she was like, "Oh, let's do black walnut." I was like, "Oh shit, okay, let's just make it super expensive." All right, just fuck me, I guess. So like I was telling chat, like, we went and we got the lumber, we put everything together, and I was like, this kind of a table, I was like, if you were to buy this kind of a table, this is like a $3,000 table, that like just for the amount of man hours and like and the the black walnut and stuff. And so then I was like, well, now I need a liquor cabinet, but I was like, well, now I got to make the damn liquor cabinet out of black walnut as well, so that way it matches the table. And I was like, now this is just getting more expensive. So, but I liked it. It's different, right? Is it ever going to be as popular, on on Twitch? No, it never will be. It just there's too many folks. The just chatting, streamers with with their drama or their let's go into they all have the same house.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who it is. it's always like, hey guys, here's my mansion. But it's like, it's clear that it's like, it's a 20-something-year-old that has no idea on how to fucking furnish a house, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just like random fucking furniture all
Yeah.
over the place. And it's like, bro, you couldn't have just hired like an interior decorator. Like you're a multimillionaire, you know, and you bought this
Nope.
huge place, but you didn't have the foresight to be like, should maybe put some furniture in this, you know? Like that'd be cool.
I remember when
Uh,
Phase was still Phase, they had this multi-million-dollar mansion that was decorated with anime rugs and like just random
just the
nerd stuff
dumbest
everywhere.
stuff. Yeah, just the dumbest stuff. And you're like, all right, cool. Or like the ones that'll get me are always the ones that are like, you know, they're like, oh, here's my gaming setup, and they'll show their gaming setup, and it's just like just pure disgusting. You know, kind of like Asmongold, for
Yeah.
example.
Oh, yes.
That's the
That
first
dude-
name that came to mind.
Yeah, that dude, he lost me. He 100% lost me as a viewer, as like somebody that follows any of his kind of content. The day that he came out, and he was like, somebody was like, "What's that on your wall behind you?" Because it was like his bed or whatever in the background, right? And so he was like, "Oh, sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and my gums are bleeding, and I'll rub my gums with my finger and I'll wipe it on the wall." And I was like, "I'm done. We're out.
It's
Clearly, we are not on the same page in life." Like,
Oh,
just like, all right, cool, man.
he's an interesting guy, that's for sure. The one that always gets me is the roach clip. He's just sitting there playing, I think, WoW or something, and there's a giant cockroach that just crawls up his body, and he just
Oh yeah.
gets it and he puts it back down. I'm like, is that your pet? He's
that's
also
Jimmy.
had like a dead cat in his house or a raccoon or something. I'm pretty sure that he
Dude,
just
oh my
didn't remove for a long time.
See, there's certain stuff, and the more that I do this, and the more that you're in the industry and that kind of thing, the more like I guess it's just kind of like I guess I'm jaded in a sense, but it's like I start looking at everything and going, is this genuine, or are you doing this for the clicks? Are you doing this for the views?
Yeah.
Right? Like I would not put it past him that Asmongold went out and got a cockroach, like a large ass cockroach that he could release, you know, that would crawl up his body or something like that, just, you know, so that we ignore it and be all nonchalant about it. Just so that way everybody would be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this," you know, because if you comment on it, like have you ever seen like a TikTok or Instagram or something like that that just irritates you, it just pisses you off,
Yeah.
right? You
Immediately
look
go to
at
the
it and you're
comments.
just like, oh my god, right? And you want to be like, you're so stupid, I hate this is the dumbest thing ever, right? But what you don't realize what you're doing is that's engagement. And what makes it worse is that the algorithm for a lot of those, just they don't know that you left a bad comment. They just know you left a comment. So they're like, "Oh, well, you like this. We're going to show you more of it." So then more and more of your feed is more and more of this stuff is just like, "Oh my god, like this is so annoying. Like how could you be that?" Like when you see those guys that are playing those like little games on TikTok and they're like top score is like 5, you know, or something, you know, and you're like, "Clearly I could score higher than this." But you're compelled to be like, "All right, well, let's play the little mini game, you know, and let me see how
Yep.
high I can get," you know, and then you're like, "Well, see, look, I got 30, you know, in my first try or whatever." But that's engagement, right? That's
That has to
You-
have some sort of success, because those mobile game ads are the same way. The ones that are like, oh, this is just rage bait at this point.
yeah, yes, because everybody is like, "Well, you're so stupid. I could do better than that." And so then you're like, then you're compelled to prove that you can do better than that. But that's the whole thing. I saw a fight between at TwitchCon last year. Well, not a fight, but it was a very heated argument between a guy and it was two guys, and one of them was like an older guy, and the younger guy was just sitting there just running his mouth, and the older guy was just trying to keep calm and stuff like that, and he kept trying to get away, and the other guy was just sitting there and he kept just provoking it. But all the while, like everybody had their live streams up, you know, anybody and everybody with a phone had their phones up all pointed at them at the same time, and I was just sitting there thinking like, What if that old guy was just a plant? I just paid a guy, $200 to show up and start some conflict to make me seem like I was the,
The hero.
the winner, the hero in that kind of a situation, and then, eventually the guy goes away and, hey, okay, here's $200, but I got 20,000 people to look at that video, or whatever. So that's one thing I would say from doing content creation. It's definitely made me much more of like I look at things through a different lens now.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So this wasn't a question we had written down, but I'm just curious since you've been on TikTok for so long. And I'm not trying to get political by any means, but have you noticed a difference in viewership from like TikTok when China owned it to TikTok when the US has owned it?
I have noticed a difference, but I would say that it has been something that I don't think that it's been with the sale of moving things over to the US that was like the nail in the coffin. Like when I first started on TikTok, and granted, I came in kind of late with TikTok too. TikTok used to be like, if you just posted consistently, then you had a pretty good chance of like something getting picked up and it would just go viral, right? And it would just get picked up and just take off, kind of thing. And it was just kind of that way, right? Like, you would post, and then it would be like, oh, this thing got like 2 million views, and you'd be like, wow, that came out of nowhere, and you'd get like 5,000 new followers from that one video, and you'd be like, this is great. And then slowly but surely, and I've noticed this with other large creators as well. I've seen like people that I follow, they're like, I've got 6.5 million viewers. There's a guy, he does like construction videos where he plays like different characters, and one of them's like an old guy, and the other guy is like he does like a different face to him, and he does these like little skits, little construction skits.
I think I've seen that guy.
Probably. The guy has a very huge following. He's got like 6.5 million followers across all platforms. And he made a post and he was like, I don't understand this as to why only 6,000 people of my 6.5 million fan base saw this. But that's a more and more of a growing trend that I've seen is it's like, if you're not directly playing into TikTok's algorithm, then it just doesn't do well, right? So like now what you're seeing is now the only things that do well is either one, the person already has just a tremendous following, and so just by sheer brute force, their community is watching it, and that's what's causing it to go viral. Or two, it's very, very generic. Like, this is a broad brush. This is going to apply to everybody, kind of thing. Like, oh, my wife did this, or something. And you're like, oh, I have a wife. Like, okay, that applies to me, kind of thing. Or like, oh, look at that funny children video. And you'd be like, children are funny, and like, that's the only time that like, it's applicable anymore. So like, it's made it harder. It's made it harder to be able to create content in that space. But then other folks have had, way more luck, but they play into the algorithm. They started doing, there's another guy, the Brotator Chip. He's done very well on TikTok because he started posting long form content, like 10-minute long videos on
TikTok. Interesting.
Yeah, on TikTok. Because it can do up to 10 minutes. So it was like, well, hey, you're doing these like longer videos. All right, cool. We'll push this content. And so then they started pushing the content for him. And it kind of sucks just in general, because it does in a way, it feels like TikTok's trying to suppress you, especially with lives. Like, I think the fastest I've been banned from a TikTok live was like a minute and a half into stream. Like, it was just like the automated program was just like, you've been banned. And I was like, well, okay, fuck me, I guess. All right, cool. Like, this was fun. I'm so glad that I had this software on my computer, and it's over like the dumbest thing. And they never tell you why.
Right.
It's just like, you violated something. You're like, can I ask what? No. And they're like, you can appeal this though. So I appeal it. And every time I appeal it, they're like, oh, your appeal went through. It's totally fine. And I'm like, why is this system here? Like, if you're just going to take me off the platform, if you're going to suppress my views and all this kind of stuff because you're banning me during the live streams, that Twitch and YouTube have no problem with me saying these things. I've never had any kind of strikes against me on any of these platforms. And it was just like, yeah, TikTok. I like it was like almost a daily occurrence. And I have noticed that has picked up a lot more since the sale of TikTok. And I'm almost curious to just see what it was like if I just threw on a VPN and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I live in China. Like I'm gonna be posting content, English speaking content, but I'm located in China, and we'll use the Chinese TikTok app.
Yeah, I've heard
yeah.
I've heard a lot of friends from the streaming space talk about how they feel like it's been a huge change ever since the sale. So yeah, I definitely wasn't trying to be political in any ways, but
Oh, for sure.
let's see. Next here, I want to talk more about Phasmophobia. So,
all right,
obviously you stream that the most. When it comes to changes that you'd like to see in the game, I know they just redid Tanglewood completely. Is there any ideas you have for Kinetic games that you'd like for them to implement, or?
So many ideas. I think for me, the biggest thing that I would like to see them do would be listening to their community. I don't feel like they listen to their community. I don't feel like they take what they want into consideration. Like for example, with the new Tanglewood rework, right? Everybody loved Tanglewood.
Mm-hmm.
No one asked for a Tanglewood rework. No one. But if I was to say, hey, which would you rather have? Would you rather have Tanglewood or would you rather have a high school rework? Or would you rather have a prison rework? And everybody would be like, oh, prison or high school, right? Like high school is the absolute, it's the worst. And there's still Unity assets, right? So they come under the guise of, they're they're Unity assets. We're trying to update everything so that way they're no longer Unity assets. And I'm like, okay, I get it. You're trying to bring yourselves into having your own, this is our Kinetic game stuff, and it doesn't belong to anybody else. We didn't buy this from anybody else. But it's like at the same time, that could have been last. Right. And like you could have done the other maps that like people don't play first, so that way you get more people that do want to play those maps, which is what they did for Sunny Meadows. Nobody liked to play the Asylum map, the original Asylum map that had like 144 rooms to it, which I actually liked it being that big. It made it absolutely terrifying, especially solo. But but they shrunk it down. They updated everything, and I think it's like 69 rooms or something like that. So it's a lot smaller than what it used to be, but it's still massive. But more people play it than what they were before. So yeah, that would be the biggest thing. Would just be to like, hey, could you guys just kind of get a pulse on what your community actually wants for coming out with something rather than just whatever that you're feeling.
I think devs lose that a lot sometimes. I know, not to bring it back to Call of Duty, but there was a lot of years there where Fish, Zolt, and I were just playing it just because we didn't know what else to play, and it was like, man, they really need to figure this out. Like the cheating thing that was going on in Call of Duty before their anti-cheat that works so well came out. Yeah, it's just, I think a lot of game devs get like big enough that they get tone deaf to what made them big in the first place, especially Kinetic games. I'm not sure what other games they have developed, but I feel like Phaz has to be the biggest one that they have at this point, probably.
For Kinetic games, it's the only.
Oh, it's the only one? Okay.
That's the only one. So yeah, so like it's that's the other thing too, is it's like, all right, all of your chips, everything is in one basket. So it's like, just some of the decisions that they decide to make, it's just like, this doesn't make any sense to me. But then again, it's not my company, it's your company, and you guys are going to do whatever it is that you want to. It's like, seems to work out for them so far.
So with Phasmo, have you ever gotten an answer to the pineapple question?
Oh yeah, all the time. How many pickles, how many pine cones, how many pineapples? At the people are always, and they're like 9 times out of 10, like every time I post up like a Ouija board video where I'm asking it, somebody's like, hey, these are mods. This is fake. Like, this doesn't actually happen.
Does it give you a number on the Ouija board?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it
Interesting.
will. Yeah, one of my most famous videos is I think it's got like 10 million views or something like that, and it's me asking like how many pickles the ghost can shove up its butt. And it's one of those. It was just one of those things where it was like, it was over on YouTube too. It wasn't even on TikTok. It was over on YouTube, and for whatever reason, the algorithm just picked it up and just ran with it. And it just started one day, just started soaring. It was like 2 months after I posted it as well. Like, it did nothing for the first 2 months, and then all of a sudden it was just like, hey, we like this. It's like, all right, cool.
That's funny.
So yeah,
Oh,
I will get recognized. I've had people come up, they will approach me in public at conventions, and they'll be like, "You're the pickle up the butt guy." I'm like, that's a terrible thing to be known for. But I was like, I guess I'm known for something. It's like, you're all right. But yeah, technically speaking, the ghost. So what you're asking is how many people have you killed?
Oh,
and so
okay.
when you're answering that, but when you say how many pickles, the game itself is picking up how many right? So like it's filling in the blank essentially, but it allows for very funny moments. So it's just one of those things of like, how can I ask questions, the baseline questions, but in a different way that the program will pick it up, and it will, and be able to respond to it.
That's funny. So with Phasmo, I know your community, that's a game that they like to watch. Is there any game that you wish you could stream, but it just doesn't hold your community's attention?
Oh gosh, that's basically every game. No, it's for me, it's one of the hardest things that I'm running into right now is kind of being typecasted as a Phasmophobia streamer. Even doing stuff is like, even other horror games, they never perform as well. Not nearly as many people show up. Like everything's down across the board, right? When I switch over to something different, and it could be horror adjacent. It could be going from like Phasmo to like Dead by Daylight, or something like that, to where it's still in the same genre, and it'd be like, all of a sudden it's like 25% of my viewers just left. They're like, all right, cool. But like here recently, I've gotten really into Arc Raiders. Was really enjoying some Arc Raiders. That's a lot of fun. Gosh, I wouldn't even mind doing like FPSs or other games like that. Kind of whatever, to be honest. Like, I've told my folks before, I'm like, I don't care what I stream. I'm here to entertain y'all. So it was like, if I made the same kind of money that I make playing Phasmo, and we switched over and we did Stardew Valley, and I made that same amount of money, guess what? I'm a Stardew Valley streamer. Like, I don't care. I'm just here to provide you guys with a good time. Like, hey, you want to go through all the Nancy Drew visual novels? We're here for it, like
The Walking Dead Telltale series? No. There's I think all creators deal with that. So I remember Tim was streaming Call of Duty, and he had like probably 20K viewers, and he wanted to stream the new WoW well, not the new WoW, the re-release of Vanilla again, and
Right. WoW Classic.
yeah, his viewership would go from like 20 to 5, and it's like those core viewers that watch when you're not streaming your game, it's almost like two different communities at that point.
Oh yeah. It's your so it's like it's kind of like 3 different levels embedded into it. So you have somewhere in there you have your core folks, and those are your ride or die kind of people, right? It does not matter what game you do, it does not matter. They're here for it, right? They're here for you. They want to see you. And then you have the folks that are like, I like you, but I'm here. I like you playing this game. So if you're not playing that game, I'm not really interested, right? So you have that kind of that layer on top of it. And then the very top layer, the smallest layer, is the folks that come in that are like, this is a new stream. Let me check it out. Right. And like, I don't quite know about it yet. I don't know if I like them or not. And that's that top layer. So there's like a good chunk, but like, that's why, folks, when they always, they always ask, like, should you do variety or should you play one game? Right. When you're starting off in your streaming career. And then same, and I would give this advice to you guys as well, is that if you play one game and you become known for one game, you're going to grow faster doing that because you were known for that one game, because you can become a pillar in that community and you can create content around it, and people will start to take you as a reliable source for that game. But if you switch to something else, then you run into the problem that we just talked about. But if you do variety, it is going to be slower, but the individuals that you do pick up that do watch you consistently will watch you for you. So you're growing more of your core community from that, but it's just going to take you longer to be able to do it.
Makes sense. And I know you're a big user of Discord. So when did you decide that you had to create a Discord community? Like, did you do it just in the beginning, or?
Oh yeah, no, it was right off the rip. Pretty much, it was. I knew I wanted to be the Bearded Baron, so that I got every single social media handle, whether I used it or not. Like, there's a Bearded Baron Facebook page that has never been used, but I own it, right? Like, I own beardedbaron.com, right? Just because. I got everything that I could get my hands on before we went public with it, and then we created the Discord, and we've had the Discord. Here recently, though, with all of the changes that they're making to Discord, I don't know and how much more viable Discord is really going to become, with making people like put up their information. And they do it under they do it under the we're doing this for the kids. That's what it's for. It's for the kids. We're here to protect the kids. And it's like, well, first off, it's not a corporation's responsibility to monitor what other people's kids are doing. It's kind of the parents' responsibility to do that. And then two, it's like, we know what you're really doing here, which is data gathering.
Yeah.
Like, you're taking all of this, you're taking all this information, you're taking all the demographics. Like, all right, well, I can tell that you're a middle-aged white guy that lives in Tennessee, and and you like to play video games, and you like to play these kind of video games, and all that information, right? Like, all that the individual stuff is then going to be taken apart, and it's going to be sold off for data consumption. And that's what I think ultimately what it's for. It's not necessarily for protecting kids. It's more so it's another avenue of being able to make money.
Yeah, but they're going to disguise it as they're the heroes.
Oh yeah,
especially because of all the things that have happened with Discord being labeled as, something that's not a good tool. There's always a few folks that ruin it for everybody. So
yeah.
But back to your community. Do you remember your first chatter? Remember their username or anything like that?
I want to say the first person was, and I don't know. I don't remember if they were male or female when their name was Neko Princess unicorn. Because I always used to be like nickel protect unicorn, and I like, and that always that like stuck in my head. Just as somebody coming in, but yeah, they were like the very first person, like just some random streamer streaming Minecraft. And that was back in the day too, when my green screen was like green cardboard and green duct tape, just duct tape to my back wall because it didn't compute in my brain that buying a piece of green fabric was going to be easier and cheaper for me to just do that. And like, I don't know why, but my brain was like arts and crafts and like, and so like try to do it. So I've gone, now we have the nice, like the whole back wall is just painted green. So that way it just makes everything all a lot easier. But like I've gone through like every kind of iteration of green screen you can think of.
Do you have the Jinxie on the back of the dining room chair? Did you have that one for a while?
I did have that one. I had I still have it's like a portable one that lifts up. I also have one that was just like, I just went to Home Depot and I got like a 1x or a 2x2, and I got some green fabric from like Amazon, and I glued the green fabric to the 2x2 and then just drilled holes into my ceiling and just hung it like that. So that way it would just kind of drape behind me like a gigantic curtain. So I've done that as well. Like there's anything and everything that I've done. Doing this way easier to just do it like that and call it a day. But the other ways are viable, right? Like we were renting, stuff at the time, but it just yeah, this is just the easier way to go about it.
Yeah, it looks really nice. I mean, I was gonna ask you before we started if it was painted, but then I saw the light switch cover back there, and I could kind of tell. I was like, oh, that is painted. That's nice. I have too much stuff to get a green screen behind me. I think it makes me more interesting to show off my stuff.
Well, and so like, and everybody did that, and like, and nothing against the streamers that have a background behind them, that have like stuff, but like every time that I would look at them, right, they're always like the same. It's the same like purplish, bluish background, with like ambient lighting or whatever. And I was just like, holy crap, man! Like, this is every one of these looks exactly the same. Like, you set this up and it's like, oh, it's nice, kind of. Me, I'm green screening in like, oh, hey guys, look, I'm in a floaty in the middle of a jacuzzi, or like, hey, we're over here doing, something else, and I'm like, whatever I want to do, like I can put whatever I want behind me. So yeah, I have a lot more freedom with the green screen than with having stuff behind me.
Yeah, is that Dean behind you right now?
That is, yeah, you can't
from Supernatural.
Him, but it used to be Mr. Bean. It was like one of the, because we did a thing one night where I was like, all right, I'm gonna let chat. I'm gonna let them buy, like, it was like, I'll let you guys buy the equivalent of like $500 worth of stuff off of Amazon, and you guys get to pick like whatever that it is. You guys could just do whatever. And so like one of them was a Mr. Bean, full stand up Mr. Bean. But my son apparently did not like it because like every time he would come in, he would attack the cardboard cutout, and eventually he just took out the knees out of Mr. Bean and he just collapsed, and I could not save him. So I was like, all right, well, I guess Mr. Bean's out. I was like, we'll go with, we'll let Chad pick something else. So they picked Dean this time around. And the funniest part about it is like, so Mr. Bean had like that really stupid look, the Mr. Bean, like
the giant eyes
look to him. Yeah. So like I just had the top half. So I was like, well, I'm gonna get some use out of this while I can. So like I would go and put him like in my wife and I's bed, just like with his head like poking out, just kind of thing. And just like everyone, like you'd hear my wife just like scream, or something like that, and be like, she found it. So like after like 2 or 3 times of like moving around, like I'd put it down at like the end of like a hallway or something like that, where he would just like, his head would just be kind of like leaning out of the hallway a little bit or something, and just scare the shit out of her. And so after a few times, she was like, I'm cutting this up. We're done with this. I'm not doing this anymore. And I was like, all right.
Be great to keep for a carpool lane.
Oh yeah. I imagine there's people that do that. I'm curious if there's a system that would be able to find people that are doing that. But like, even like the blow up dolls or something, just to have it on hand, or
Realistic
like
mannequin.
yeah, just something. I'm just curious on like what would work and what doesn't work.
And that Atlanta traffic, that is. I remember driving down to Florida one day, and we drove through Atlanta, and thankfully it was my wife and I in the car, so we got to take the carpool in the whole way, and it was bumper to bumper next to us the whole time. I'm like, man, I am so happy we're able to take this lane and get there faster.
It's awful.
Let's talk a little bit more about your personal life. So I've always been interested to ask someone that does content creation full time, what kind of reactions do you get from people when you say what you do? Like, are they positive, negative? People look at you kind of sideways, like.
Mostly they look at you sideways. I tell people, I'm like, the easiest way to explain it is I'm like, I'm a professional gamer. I play video games for a living. And everybody's like, really? I'm like, yeah, like, and then, there's normally a follow-up question of like, they're like, well, how do you even make money off of that? Like that's their biggest thing. My parents, they like to be like, we loved you, we supported you from the word go, we knew you were gonna do it, kind of thing. But I specifically remember having a conversation with my father, of him being like, hey, you need to stop this whole streaming thing, because you have to look after your family, and blah blah blah. And so now, he's like, oh no, I always knew that you would do it. And I was like, you're full of shit, like, you're only saying this now. But yeah, but for the most part, everybody is, most people are just, they're curious about it. Um, and they're like, wow, like that must be pretty cool. And like, and it is, don't get me wrong. Like it's amazing, right? That you get to pick, you get to pick your own hours. You get to do whatever it is that you want, to a degree, right? But then it's also, it's just like any other job. Like as it stands right now, right? Would it be awesome if I could pull away from Phasmophobia and go off and play something else? Sure. Do I get to do that? No, right? Just because of where I'm currently and where I'm at, right? So like, there's certain things that like I have to put up with as well, just like in a regular job. Nobody is expecting anything of me, but at the same time, if I don't do it myself, if I don't keep that train moving, then it doesn't move.
Right.
Right. So YouTube videos, short form content, going live, even when you don't necessarily want to go live. But it does provide you with a lot of freedoms. If my like, hey, we're gonna go out, my son's sick, I can take the day off and just, hang out with the kid. Or how, hey, we're gonna go on a family trip. I don't have to put in for vacation that might or might not get approved, kind of thing. But on the flip side of it, right? It's like, okay, well, if something happens and people stop giving a shit about the channel, then this all stops. Like it comes to an abrupt end. And as much as I would like to think that, I could go into a job interview and get a job back as a software developer, to tell folks that yes, I took off for 7 years so that way I could go and pursue a career in playing video games. I don't know on how well that's going to work for as far as putting that on a resume, right? Like you might get people that are curious about it and want to at least have a conversation about it, but at the end of the day, like it's not like it would be curious to see where the train ends, kind of thing. So there's definitely, it's not all, it's not all gumdrop roads and
Yeah.
and everything like that. There is definitely some scary sides to things. Especially with like, so like if you do something to get banned, right? Like let's say you got like a temp ban or something like that off of I like a temp ban, like a 1 day, 3 day ban, something like that from Twitch, for example. What a lot of people don't realize is that those are actually way more detrimental than what you think. Because it's not just you get banned, but if anybody subscribed to you during that time frame that you are banned, their subscriptions are automatically removed. So
Oh,
those folks have to
interesting.
go back in. So if you get a 30-day ban, then that means that every single person that subscribed to you during that month-long process is now no longer auto renewed. Right. So like, like I'm not saying that all of it comes from people just not remembering to cancel their subscriptions to me, but if it was like, hey, everybody got wiped out and everybody has to resubscribe again, it would hit you, super hard, way harder than what people realize.
Yeah, interesting. I did not know that part of that you lose your subs from that day when you get banned.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So back to Phasmo. We know that there's a movie in development by horror movie powerhouse Blumhouse. So
Right.
for a fun scenario here, let's say you were in charge of casting the movie. So this question is kind of twofold. Who would you like to see cast as the 4 ghost hunters and Ghost when it comes to actors? And then also, what 4 streamers would you put in the movie? And what streamer would you put as the Ghost?
Okay. I'm terrible with names. So if I can't think of the individual's name, I'll just start spouting off different movies. Hopefully you guys will be able to fill in the blanks on that one. But like you would have to have somebody, there would have to be like you'd have to have like the the nerdy guy, the techie guy, kind of thing. I would honestly like the nerdy, funny kind of guy. I would go with like Zach Galifianakis. I feel
Okay.
like he could go into that pretty well. I think that if like the more of like the father figure leader scenario to it, um, I'd go with like Matthew McConaughey. So like
Okay.
get him in there with like more of like a leadership role kind of thing, the Southern drawl, bring you in kind of
All right.
kind of thing to it. Right? And then you have to go with like somebody, like somebody new, that's like somebody younger that's coming in. They're the new member of the team, right? They're the fresh guy, fresh recruit. And I would you'd have to go with like I would say either I forget his name. It's either the guy that plays Spider-Man,
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland, or the guy that plays he plays the lead role in Dune.
Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, yeah, Chalamet.
Chalamet.
Have one of those guys be like the new guy that doesn't know what's coming, right? And then you got to put in somebody in for like the female lead. So let's see, female lead. Who would fit in there? Gosh, I don't know. I don't know for female lead. I don't know who I would think that would fit in with that group. Maybe the you could go with the woman that played. She was in the Marvel movie. She played as the robotic sister.
Karen Gillan.
Yeah,
She was Nebula. Yeah. She was.
Yeah.
She was one I thought of too, because it's funny you mentioned her because she was also like close on my list, but Chalamet is one I also picked.
If it's not like Matthew McConaughey, then I would go with like I don't know if he actually still does anything anymore, but like a George Clooney. Something,
Okay.
like a classy older gentleman, that would be like the leader of them kind of thing. And then gosh, for as far as like a like a ghost or something like that, the guy that plays, I think he would do a good job with it. He played in a lot of different stuff, but the most notably is he played as the henchman in Fifth Element, Mr. Zorg.
Yes,
Whatever.
the comb over.
Yeah, with the comb over guy. He also played in Silence of the Lambs. He was like the guy that got carved up by him. let's see, he played in the Book of Eli with Denzel Washington. I can't think of his name, but he's
Gary Oldman.
yeah.
He was
Wait, is that him? I think so. But I think that he would make for a good yeah, Gary Oldman. I think that he would make for a good ghost character. You know, like an old guy that had died kind of thing, and then he was you know, started to possess stuff.
Still has the comb over there, right? We can still make that thing happen.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I should have gone with Commissioner Gordon. That would have probably been a way easier way of knowing of recognizing him. But yeah, I think that that group would do well with it. Now, for as far as like streamers are concerned, gosh, streamers would definitely be harder for it. Like, do they have to be like Phasmo streamers, or
No,
is it
no,
just
no, no,
are we talking
anybody.
about just any streamers? Hmm. I would want just for the new guy, I would want Jinxie in there, just because Jinxie would just have the shit scared out of him. Like he would just, I could just see him just screaming running down the hall.
That would be funny.
Yeah. So Jinxie would be the new guy to it. Let's see. There's a techie dude that does content. Gosh, and I forget his name, and I feel bad for forgetting his name. But he does like a lot of like PC builds and stuff like that. And I've done PC builds with the guy at PAX East a couple of years ago. I'll probably see him again this year at PAX East. I cannot for the life of me think of his name. So we'll go with somebody different because there'd be no way of being able to figure that out. It would be funny to see like Burnt Peanut play as the ghost. Just to see
in
what kind
peanut
of
form.
deadly shenanigans. Yeah, just in peanut form, just running around, just causing pure chaos. I could see like a Maru playing like a female, the female streamer on that one.
Yeah.
And then gosh, there's not really anybody that I would be like they're like an older, you know, like leadership kind of role to fill in, right? Because we're all basically like there's nobody that's like, with the exception of like that grandpa that does like sniper stuff.
Yeah. I was
World
gonna
War
say,
II grandpa.
But yeah, but I don't, but you know, I don't really be like, hey, do we know what ghost it is? And be like, listen, I can snipe a guy from like 4 kilometers away, and it's like that's not helping us right now, you know, with this ghost investigation. Thank you so much for the contribution. So I don't know in who that I would have. Maybe like an Ots Darva or something like that from he plays a lot of Dead by Daylight. To be like the leader of that group. Yeah.
But
I
we
feel
gotta
like,
have
you know,
you in there, right?
you could also throw, I mean, like, yeah, you know, if you wanted like a resident expert kind of thing, you know, I could also see like Tim the Tat Man just being like one of the new guys, just being like, I'm definitely in over my fucking head, you know, and be like, I did not sign up for this, you know, like I was cheering for the Cowboys 1 second, and the next second, like there's a poltergeist in the kitchen, you know, like. So,
I
yeah.
would watch both of those movies. I think if you go more the funny route than the horror. I hate horror. I'm not a horror person.
That's fair.
Phasmo's the only horror game I've ever played. Everything
I'm
else
not really either.
terrified of.
Like I've told my folks this before I started with the Dead by Daylight. Like the only game that I ever really played before that was like Left 4 Dead, which is more of like like an FPS,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I was like, we just kind of stumbled into this, and now we play a lot of horror stuff. But I was like, I don't go out of my way to seek this kind of stuff out in my own personal time. Like, I only do this because this is what you guys enjoy watching. So if it's like you guys want to watch something else, then we can play something else, kind of thing. So I get you on the, not a the horror side. I don't know how that they're going to make a movie for Phasmo, just because Phasmo, as it stands right now, is so fucking generic. Like, it just like at the end, like there's no backstory, there's no lore, there's no nothing, right? Like, you don't know why that the ghost is haunting the location. You don't know what happens after you investigate it. There's no exorcising the ghost, right? They're like, there's none of that. It's not even like the police don't even show up to take a witness statement over your buddy dying during the round or anything. Like, there's nothing. So it's like, I don't know how Bloomhouse is going to, or how like the Phasmo devs are going to drum up this, like, all of a sudden it's like, oh, here's all of this lore. And it's just like, all right, we're just adding this in so that way it's part of the movie at this point in time. Because if not, Bloomhouse is going to have to be like, hey, listen, we're going to have to take some very large artistic liberties here and just add in whatever we want to make this work. Because that's the only way it's going to work.
I have a feeling it's going to be like Blair Witch or even Paranormal Activity. Blair Witch is kind of the found footage style where they're walking around with the cameras. Yeah. And then Paranormal Activity is just like, oh, hey, here's this really creepy shit that's happening while we're sleeping. Terrifying.
There's no way they don't do like somebody holding a camera up and you got some guys gonna teabag the other dead body. There's no way.
Take a picture of the dead body.
They're not gonna do that. Like,
oh yeah, there'll be something like that for sure. I think it'd be super funny if and I've kind of kept a pulse on it, but like, I think that it would be funny as hell to if Bloomhouse ever does like an open call, like casting call or something like that, and be like, I'll throw my name in the hat. Like,
yeah, 1,000%.
Oh yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
Be like, do you know the reference material? Be like, I got it. Don't even worry about
4,000 hours worth.
Yeah, I'll give me a level 1 flashlight and the lowest dim set, and I can go anywhere. So.
Yeah, we got it.
The next, well, I also wanted to get Fish and Zolts just for the actors, but because I'm not sure how many streamers you guys know, but
I mean, I could name off some streamers real quick. So, I mean, nationally, right? I would probably have the Burnt Peanut. I would have Cloaksy, and I would have Tim for sure, right? I think those three would just be somebody's gonna die and someone's gonna egg the other person on. Honestly, throw kind of like Nick Merckx in the mix too. Because all the four of them are just gonna do is yell at each other, much like what we do when we play with like Liz and like Noah. It's just a constant amount of yelling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who for the ghost?
I don't know.
Queso is
honestly, yeah.
Like, just yelling, angry all the time.
Glutton of a ghost.
And then give me Tim, and then Ninja, and then give me Nick A30 so he can talk about how it's family friendly when they're cursing at each other. And then I go with Jinxie just because comedic relief. Well, more comedic relief.
Jinxie would be good.
Jinxie would be fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. But then for actors, give me The Rock.
Okay.
And then
I could see him.
The Rock was on my list too.
Yeah. Tom Holland for sure. And then Keanu Reeves.
Oh.
But like Neo from the Matrix style Keanu Reeves, where he's that kind of like cool, calm, collected. I know Kung Fu. And I don't know who would be the fourth. For the female, probably Zoe Saldana, because she's a really good actress, won a bunch of Oscars, and I feel like you'd put her in like this super serious role though, and then you have the other three kind of doing their own thing and dicking off, and then Danny DeVito is the ghost.
Damn it!
That's great, right?
Man,
yeah,
a banger of a ghost. It really
exactly.
is.
You're doing almost like
he's got the range.
You're almost doing like a jungle, or what was that? Not Jungle Book. No. The Rock's in it. The Rock.
Oh, Jumanji.
Jumanji. Yeah.
Jumanji.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about Jack Black too because Jack Black's he's one of my favorites.
Yeah. He's hysterical.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh, Danny DeVito, that's a bad
Yeah,
ghost.
I
Because
know,
he's not
right?
He's not gonna be over 4 or 5. So, like, you constantly have to look down.
He
so,
just he just floats up, and you're like,
absolutely
what
terrifying.
the hell? But he would have both sides. You know, he was the Penguin in the old Batman movies.
Yeah.
Seen him in Matilda when he was the evil dad, or like, you know, the horrible dad.
Yeah.
But then you've got It's Always Sunny, where he's just a riot.
Strung
Yeah.
out.
Offer you a pickle in these trying times.
Man's got range.
So, anyways, I just started blasting.
All right, Baron, you ready to get into our game here? Our trivia game?
Sure.
I'm not sure why that
Oh,
took
that's
so
the
long.
lobby.
Yeah. this
Let's
is
go.
the lobby.
Got it.
One
Nailed
for
it.
one.
So I explained this a little bit to Baron and Fish before you got here. But the
I was
whole
here for this.
premise. Oh, were
Like
you? My bad.
Yeah, it's like GeoGuessr.
Yeah, it's like GeoGuessr.
just-
So
Gets easier the more pictures we get in there.
is
Oh.
it hard to see? I can switch what I'm
No,
sharing.
It's fish just being fish.
Fish just being fish. Okay.
We're good.
So each one of these photos, there's 7 locations. All these photos were taken by yours truly with a level 1 flashlight. Brightness was up to 250%. But I was just walking around taking screenshots at different places. So the object of the game, figure out what map we're on. So we'll start with the first location.
That's the lighthouse.
Yeah, this one's pretty easy.
Yeah, wow.
The lighthouse is pretty simple to get. So
Yeah. It's the only one with a
Oh,
brick
the
wall in
water.
it.
Oh, you
Just
moved it around to different locations too. Okay.
yeah, I moved around to different locations. So that was Point Hope.
Oh, gotcha.
And then here's
I think I remember
location
that from
2.
the
The,
Easter egg.
the first 2 or 3 are very easy. So next location. There's the first image.
That's you said that looks like Sunny. No. That's Maple Lodge. That's the bathrooms. Right?
It's close. It's not Maple Lodge.
Is it Woodwind?
It is.
Ah,
I didn't know what else to do for this one, so I just went into a tent and then went outside of a tent and then went back in the tent.
hate those tents.
And then I lit a fire. So that's the smoking gun right there for that one. So Camp Woodwind. I tried to get a picture of Slender Man, but he wasn't in my session when I started. So
He's
check-
not guaranteed. He's not guaranteed to be there all the time.
right.
Did you check all the locations too?
Yeah.
Do you know he shows up more than one? Okay.
Yeah. I checked all the locations. So here's
Awesome.
location 3. This is where things might start getting a little bit harder.
In the house, the bigger house.
It's Bleasdale.
Yep.
Nope, Grafton.
Oh.
That's what
Grafton.
it is. Grafton.
Done.
Which this was, I think, the darkest map. Because these pictures
Grafton
are.
is really
so-
really dark.
I was just walking around like, I got to get something I can.
Bro, I
Give
use
them.
I use an NVIDIA game filter on top of my stuff too, just so that way I could see. And some people they will get all upset. They'll be like, "You're cheating." I'll be like, "Bro, I have thousands of hours in this game. Like I do this so that way I don't give myself a headache from staring in the dark for
Yeah.
so long. Like some of this stuff, it's annoying to be able to see this."
All right. And then here's the next one.
And hold on, don't move. Oh, that's New Tanglewood.
It is new. Did the book give it away? Coast of the Forest?
The books gave it away. Yeah.
Yep. I picked most of them up out of this picture and put them on the bed. But yeah. Yep, New Tanglewood.
Yeah, because those books, like for whatever reason, there's like a ton of books that you could pick up at that location.
Yeah.
But there's only 3 different books. So it's like 15 copies of the same book. And you're like, why is this? Why?
They kept it. They kept the publisher in business.
Right?
All right. And then we have, was that 4? So this is 5.
Should be 5, yeah.
Image number
Hold
1.
on. Don't get me out yet. Don't get me out yet here. The green area. Were there any maps that you did not do, or can you tell me that?
I only did 7, so I didn't do. I'm not even sure how many there are. I didn't do the big campsite. I didn't do the bigger maps, so I didn't do the prison, the school, the asylum.
Okay.
Those are ones I didn't do for sure.
In green like that, right? Based off of what we have this. Based off of what we have this for. Off the first image, that one's kind of hard for me. Because the green keeps making me think of prison. You said that we didn't do prison.
Right, we didn't do prison.
Right, it looks metallic. Whatever it is that you're looking at there. So like, but it's not the green, or it's not like the gray closets like the lockers.
Want to see the next one?
Yeah.
All right, for this next one, I believe I just zoomed out a little bit.
Oh gosh. Okay. That's Ridgeview.
Dude, he's on fire. Yep, Ridgeview.
Yep.
I knew I was like, maybe I'll just do 4 locations, and then I was like, no, I have to at least do like 7.
Yeah, I couldn't make out anything there with the wallpaper, and I was like, the thing just kept making me think. I was like, man, the green just really threw me off there for a second. And then when I saw the guitar, I was like, oh, okay, I know where we're at.
Here's the next one, and I even have to reference my slideshow to know which one I'm at.
Gosh. And you really zoomed in on the first one here. All right, so
I did, yeah. There's little hints in each one though, like this down here. Maybe this is a hint.
yeah, it's a little bit harder for me to be able to see just off of the
Here, let me switch what I'm sharing. Hold on.
So you didn't do high school, you didn't do prison, you didn't do the asylum, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I didn't do Nell's Diner.
Okay, we didn't do nails. Did you do the Sunny Meadows restricted?
No.
Or no?
Just for a hint, the rest of these, and hopefully this isn't too big of a hint, these are all residential properties.
Is this Edgefield?
It is not Edgefield. I'll give you the next slide here.
Right. Yeah. Ah, it's Willow Street.
It is. It's Willow Street.
Man, like the zoomed in corner wallpaper.
I tried to get part of the bug picture.
Yeah,
because I thought that was pretty unique.
I couldn't see the bug in there. Otherwise, it would have been like, okay,
yeah.
Where else do you see it?
This one I didn't give you anything. I'll be honest.
Oh my god!
But this is the last location.
I mean, white walls off of that. The only thing is that the hallway of Edgefield.
Nailed it.
Nice.
Edgefield.
Is that the hallway?
Yeah, that was super fun. I knew I needed to
actually crazy.
to do at least 7 locations and make some of them confusing. So,
you know what? Hey, I got one off rip. I'm happy with myself.
Yeah,
there you go.
A little sprinkle on there.
Remember, I've spent 168 days staring at these walls. So,
we play a lot of Tanglewood.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we play.
That's what we play.
And that's always a fun one for sure. That a lot of people play, and that's why I was going back earlier. It was just like nobody asked for a rework of that map. You know, like because that's everybody's favorite. You know, that is the most played map, and the most played difficulty is intermediate. Is the most
Yep.
the most played.
We were stuck on. Were we playing Nightmare for a while?
We
were trying to do the 2 evidence, whatever that one
we're
is.
doing the
Yeah,
speed
Nightmare.
runs of it. Yeah.
No, yeah, and that's what we were doing for levels.
Yeah, we were
Um,
trying to
we were doing
speed
Camp
run levels.
Woodwind. Nothing. You look for orbs because orbs will always show up even if there's no evidence. And then if not, we would just take a random guess. We'd do eeny, meeny, miny, mo. You still get like a
Alright.
decent bit.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Hell, with the amount of cheaters that they're out there now, I mean, you pay $20 and they'll give you like 2,000 levels or something like that.
I can't believe people cheat in Phasmophobia.
That's actually wild.
It's not so it's not competitive in the sense of like, like an FPS, like Call of Duty, right? Like everybody's like, okay, that makes sense for why people would do that. But the reason why people cheat is because they don't want to come across as stupid.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Right? So they don't want to be the new player because they get kicked from lobbies for being the new player. So they're like, all right, well, if I just boost, like a couple of prestiges or something, then people are more likely to allow me to play with them. And then I'll also come across as like I know more of what I'm talking about because I have a higher level. But now I've run into the issue of like I'm at such a higher level that people just assume that I'm cheating and they will just kick me from lobbies because they think I'm cheating on stuff when I'm not.
And then you say, Google me.
I don't do that. But like most of the time, like I'll join into a lobby and the first thing, like even if they don't know me, they're like, you sound like a streamer. And I'm like, why is that? They're like, your microphone is really good. And I'm like, maybe I just like good audio quality, or something. And then as soon as they click on my Steam profile, it's like, if you see me playing Phasmo, I'm probably live, and it's like, well, all right, we're done for now. But yeah, no, it's I have people. I had one guy, he banned me out of his channel and he was live streaming, and this guy just went off on a tangent of like, oh yeah, no, I know this guy, he just cheats all the time, blah 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 blah, and he just does all this kind of stuff. And I was like, dude, I've never met you before in my life. Like, what are you possibly talking about? Like, this makes zero sense. But I was like, all right, cool. Like you live your best life there, buddy. Like a delusion must be a hell of a drug for you, but all right, cool.
People love to be contrarian.
Oh, yeah.
That's all it comes down to. Boys, you guys have any other questions for Baron?
No, not that I can think of.
Well, man, we really do appreciate you coming on the show. We were happy to meet you and kind of pick your brain about streaming and, your journey through it all. So I would say, where can the people find you? But I'm sure they know exactly where to find you.
Yeah, the Bearded Baron across any and all socials. Th3BeardedBaron. I have a new YouTube channel too that's called Baron After Dark with 2Ks. That's where I do deep dives. We do more of a documentary style thing where we do deep dives on cryptids and paranormal locations.
Oh, cool.
So every other week I'll swap back and forth between doing a deep dive on a cryptid or I'll do a deep dive on a haunted location. Last week was like the Stanley Hotel. So we did a whole thing about the Stanley Hotel and why people think that it's haunted and that kind of thing. And so I'm hoping to eventually get up to where we a couple of times a year where we can go out and do like in-person paranormal investigations to be able to cover over those stories or go cryptid hunting, see if we can find a cryptid, that people talk about, that kind of thing.
Mothman is big in Ohio if you're ever in the area. So
is it the
Mothman
too?
was one of the first ones. The Beast of Bray Road, we covered that one. It's like the Francesca creatures or something like that. Francisca creatures. Like long, slender. They look really weird. They're like basically just legs with like a little head on them. And they were caught on like 2 security cameras at like 2 different distinct places and times and stuff. Oh yeah, no, there's when you start going down the rabbit hole of different cryptids and stuff like that, there is a lot of them, right?
Yup.
And then you start going down the rabbit hole of haunted locations, and there's even more. You know, but yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to catch those with the lights on. So
Yeah, 100% out during the daytime around like
Yeah.
12 people. For
Yeah.
sure.
I'm falling asleep to it. Love it. Dude,
There
yeah.
you go.
I'll have a good story time.
But Baron, thanks again, man. We really appreciate it. And everybody, if you have a question for Baron, you can see him on a stream, or you can leave it in our comments, and we'll ask him for you. So always CGG. Thanks for being a gent. We'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Bye.
Baron.